It's that time again. It's the Berkey and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wacky. It might even get a little zany. We're going to talk about board games and the board game industry. And, you know, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about. Hey! It's the Berkey and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. Welcome to Babble-Lot. And the good kingdom is welcoming our special guest, a king in his own right, Sir Scott Walton of the Level Up Podcast is joining us in Babble-Lot, Jester Badger. Is this exciting or what?
Two kings. Wow. We should get Dan in here as well.
We got a pair.
We got a pair. Oh, no. I know.
I'll go all in. I'm all in. Got a pair of kings and a joker.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you are all here to join us. Feel free to join in on the chat as we go through this. We're going to have a super exciting show. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there, Sir Badger.
Okay, yes, in this extremely fun-packed episode, we have going straight into the things that make the king go, and possibly what made me go, as well, followed by our interrogation of our prisoner for this week, which happens to be Scott. He's down in the dungeon. He's there due to the fact that he was selling counterfeit game toppers at Essen this year. So yes, he will try to riddle his way out of our dungeons by taking our test, and then we're going to finish up on our babble subject, which is babbling about Essen.
Yes, I'm super excited about this. I'm pulling something up really quick. What's super fun about this show that we're calling All Things Essen is we are actually talking about all of us going to Essen.
Yay.
It's going to be exciting. Now, Scott, this was your first trip to Essen, right?
Oh, good Lord. This was my first trip in Europe. It was my first trip to Germany, my first trip to Essen. I could have been the poster boy for a muggings. I mean, I'd walk around with my jaw hanging open, and I was just like, oh, let's pick on this guy here. He looks like just a delicate little flower we can prey upon. But no, it was absolutely amazing going in. I was so thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah, you know, Scott, for those of you who don't know, Scott Walton, he lives in Pennsylvania, and he is part of the Level Up podcast with Patrick. And these guys do an amazing job on this podcast, by the way. So if you haven't heard of them, check out the Level Up podcast. But Scott has been a good friend of mine for many years. We met at a secret Cabal meetup, actually, while we were in Origins, I believe it was. And we were talking about this actually when we were at Essen this year. But Scott and I have become good friends, and Scott has helped game toppers at our booth for many years now. And when I was when we were able to go to Essen at the last minute, I was kind of pulling together a team. And right away, I thought, man, I wonder if Scott could go. This would be epic. And Scott says, are you kidding me? I can go to Europe? I said, yep. And off the wild blue yonder, Dusseldorf, here we come, baby.
It was truly amazing.
Yeah, I think it was super fun. We're gonna get into our things that make the king go segment and a couple of our sponsors, and then get into our game show. But before we do that, Scott, about your background in the board game industry, your background, how you got into board gaming, and then how you moved into the Level Up podcast.
Oh, well, starting out with board games, you play your normal games whenever you're growing up, your Mousetrap, your Monopoly, things like that. But it wasn't until probably 91 that I had some free income that wasn't being used for anything. So I decided to dip my toe into Warhammer, which that really that took me on a journey there.
Right? Galvanized toes.
Oh my goodness. But played that for a number of years, and then some people brought out a game called Carcassonne. And I was like, oh, what is this? And sat down, gave it a try, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And just jumped right into Puerto Rico and then Catan after that. And since then, just had a love of this and just wanted to share this with so many people about how much fun it is. And it's not your typical game of sorry whenever you're playing board games. There's so much that goes on and so much fellowship and laughter that goes on around the board game table. And it's such a wonderful thing. I mean, it even took over for a while that I owned a comic and game shop for a number of years. Did that, so I was able to push my love of both those mediums out for people to really get in, see the enjoyment in it. Then that I sold it, and then I went back into hotel business and managed hotels for a while. And then just one day, Patrick called me up. We had known each other from whenever I'd owned my comic shop. And he's like, hey, would you be interested in doing a podcast together? And this was right before the pandemic started. And I'm like, sure, why not? And we got together and came up with the idea for the Level Up Board Game Podcast, and just going with the whole idea of like the 8-bit figure that we have for our mascot, Wilford. He's an 8-bit character from a video game. The 8-bit music we use. We do different things with each time that we have our review game. We do an 8-bit breakdown. So we break down each thing into the components. Was it fun? Was it not fun? Who's this for? A number of different things here to really kind of fill out a game that we got a chance to play and let people get an idea of if it would be for them or not. I think that after almost 140 episodes, I think we're kind of to the point where people that have listened to us for a while kind of get an idea from what I like and what Patrick likes, whether or not the game will be for them. And over this time, we've had a number of people jump in and join us with different segments, join us as like a co-host for some of the episodes, and really have grown our little circle of friends a little bit bigger, and just really trying to build it even bigger. That's one of the special things that I really got out of board gaming is the friends that I make. I see that one person on here that left a comment, Seth. I just met him at the last Origins, and it was great. We had no idea who each other were, but we had this love of board games. They listened to us for a little bit. We had a wonderful evening at the Cabal meetup, just chatting with them, laughing, playing games. And that is what makes board gaming so special for me, I believe.
Yeah, it's amazing how this hobby, I think about it. I've been in what I consider the greater hobby board game market probably since about 2012. I started way back in high school playing Axis and Allies and Fortress America and Shogun, those big box Milton Bradley games. But I was unaware of even though this is a small niche industry, unaware of the enormosity, you like that word, of this hobby. It's like, and being at Essen this year, there was a moment where I was mostly in the booth with you guys, but there was a couple times where I had some business meetings. And when I walked from hall to hall to hall to hall to hall to hall to hall, that's 7. Then did I do it right? I think I did it right.
Yeah.
But
what about notes? Yeah, can't have a hall without oats.
Well, Hall and Oates. Oh yes, you're so funny, Jester. The Jester has pulled a funny. Well, I thought
not very often.
Wow, this hobby doesn't seem like it's lightening up at all, man. Oh, clean it all up there. You've been blowing on your screen again.
No. It's just the excitement. Just fogged up my lens.
Well, to your point, it's just the hobby. It's brought so many people together. And I'm at Essen. I'm just realizing there are just literally tens and tens and tens and hundreds of thousands of people that somehow we've been acquainted with in one way or another. For me, being in media, starting out with Board Game Theater and with Badger here, of course, and like yourself, but then with morphing into Game Toppers and being a manufacturer that's had some exposure in the hobby, I've gotten to know so many amazing people, and these relationships like I have with you, Scott, it's just been, they're so precious. I mean, I can't count how what the cost is. It's so wonderful. Yeah.
Back at you, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me get my wallet. I'll count the cost.
Go ahead.
One thing I will have to comment on that too is going to Essen for the first time. I was normally I will go into a room and I'll start talking to people. I was nervous going to Essen. I was thoroughly overwhelmed with the idea of going. But the thing that really jumped out at me was, even though there was so much distance between where I'm at and where we were, it still came down to the same language we were all speaking in playing board games. The number of times we had Games Workshop right across the aisle from us, which was not good for me being a recovering plastaholic here. But it was great talking with them and hearing their stories and talking about their armies and what they could do on the Game Toppers and and all these things, and seeing the light bulbs going off in their heads of the amount of fun they can do and the amount of fun that they brought up ideas to me too. Like, oh God, I never even thought of that. And it was just wonderful having that same language, even though, I mean, there were some language barriers at times. It was still the same basic language we were speaking. And that was so special.
Yeah, super good. And we could just start talking about Essen. There's so much to talk about. We're going to get to our Babble topic in a little bit, but I think before going into all that, we're going to move right on to our next segment, the things that make the king go,
This is the Board Game News, where King Berkey reflects on some of the current things happening in the board game industry. Some may be good, some may be bad, but they're all things that made our king go,
Well, the thing that makes the king go, was brought to my attention by the jester. However, I was already aware, so I said, off with you. I already know what I'm doing. How do you presume to tell the king what he thinks is
By squeezing in that bagel on your throne. It's just as the moment you sit upon it.
It's not a bagel, it is a donut, and I've fallen on my tailbone. The thing that makes me go is this, and I did actually see this, and it really did make me go because I'm seeing a resurgence of so many of the older traditional games that have noted acceptance in the hobby. Games like Castles of Burgundy, for instance, one of my favorite Stefan Feld games, and GameFound remakes it, or not GameFound, Awakened Realms takes it to GameFound, makes this deluxeified edition and blows it up. Now they're doing Puerto Rico, and you're seeing some of these classic games that are just of note. And then what happens? One of the biggest companies in the world when it comes to board gaming, and I can say that kind of confidently now, I don't know where it actually ranks, but Stonemaier Games, Jamie Stegmaier, with the success of Wingspan and Scythe and so many other games, Viticulture, I mean, they have worked out a deal with FunForge that they've actually picked up the rights to Takenoko.
No, not Tokaido.
Tokaido, excuse me. Tokaido. And Tokaido is this beautiful Asian themed game. I actually have the deluxe collector's edition of this, and it looked amazing on our great wall map from Vincent Dutray. What'd you say?
Is it still in shrink?
In shrink. Now. Well, it's such an interesting game mechanism, I think, with that game where you're moving forward, moving back, and who goes ahead. And it's just an interesting mechanism. Beautiful, beautiful game. Who's the designer of that, Barry?
That would be Antoine Bowser.
Oh, it's Antoine Bowser.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bowser. Yeah.
Bowser.
Who also did Takenoko.
And it wasn't with Bruno Catala. Just Bowser.
Yeah, it was just Bowser on his own.
Just Bowser. Well, anyway, the thing that made me go home is this going to be a bigger trend in finding some of these classic games that established publishers are going to pick up and bring them back in a new deluxeified way? Like I'm hearing with different IP or different products, they're putting in, solo modes, autonomous type of things. They're doing deluxeified components. And these are games that have kind of gotten forgotten a little bit. I think of Renegade Game Studios, picking up Axis and Allies from Hasbro. Not that it was dead, but they're doing all kinds of new things. They've just got this new fantasy version of it in the winter or something. The G.I. Joe. And I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, the thing that brought this out to me is the fact that is this a sign of decline for FunForge?
Oh,
I have heard rumors over the years that the company doesn't handle things very well. Now, this is just rumors, and this is just my thoughts, so don't take this with a grain of salt. This is not official, but I've heard rumors because FunForge make these extravagant games, and some of them are hits, and some of them are misses. And the fact that they're now selling one of their most well-known titles to another company, are they struggling financially? Is my question. It's the first question that jumped to mind when I saw this, because, as I said, I've heard rumors that things have not been managed very well.
What you need to set up an appointment, set up an interview. We'll have them on the Berkey and Badger show, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of it all.
Yeah, but that's my concern. I mean, FunForge is a great French company, but if they're on the way out, what's going to be sold next? Will it be their Citadels of Time? Will it be their Monumentum? Will it be their Isla, whatever it is? I can't remember. I've got it on my shelf. Love it. But that's just my thoughts and feelings.
I don't know. I want Scott to respond to this, but I do have thought about it. It's like I don't know if you found this true, Scott, at Essen, but there are so many companies there that are offering games that we know from different publishers in the United States.
Yeah, so that was something that surprised me. Yeah,
I get confused, honestly. Who's it? They form these partnerships. Arcane Wonders, one of our sponsors, they're forming all kinds of partnerships, and they're producing games in North America. How they do that all, I'm not exactly sure, but there's so many of these companies doing that. Inside Up Games, who just had their big hit Earth, they had an amazing sized booth, and sure enough, they're helping rep Stonemaier Games at Essen. Yeah. And so it's remarkable to me, all these partnerships, relationships, distribution deals that I find it really muddled. I don't know who's selling what anymore, because it's like, anyway, the point is, did you take that away from the announcement, or what are your thoughts?
Just looking at that there, I look at it in a way, not really looking at the company point of view, but looking at it more as a person playing games. The older games that come out, there's like we're in a golden age of games coming out. We got a ton of games coming out, but there's still that little shell, that little time period where there was gold being put out there with the Puerto Rico, with the Catan, with Carcassonne. Those things were just really a great game. Didn't have all the bells and whistles, and it's nice to see them coming back out. Now, whether or not they need all the bells and whistles to make them not much more special and sell, I don't know. But I like the idea of them getting a new light and people getting a chance to go in and give them a try, where they may just be playing the new hotness that's out there and not know all these classic games that are out there that they could still play.
Yeah, it's interesting. I took more from when I read the announcement on ICV2 about this acquisition. I really felt like it was more of a Stonemaier Games wanting that mechanism almost. And it made me wonder if, okay, they're going to acquire the game. Now they have rights to these mechanisms for other projects that they might be working on. And plus they have that power, if you will, to bring it to a larger audience again, because I don't know when was that published, Barry?
What, Tokaido?
Yeah.
Tokaido, 2012.
2012. I mean, goodness sakes, that's 13 years almost. I mean, how many new board gamers have come into the market since then that probably haven't even heard of it?
Exactly. Right. Swallowed in the wave of other games.
Yeah.
And Cult of New.
We've got a lot of guests on the show. Super excited to have Seth with us here. We got Patrick and Chris. Tim Douglas is here, mentions Restoration Games does such a great job. And oh yeah, our good friend Raymond from Board Game Heaven is here. Raymond Hawken from Board Game Heaven helped us at Essen and is a dear friend. And he's putting out some great content about Essen right now, by the way, too. So if you want some more really good inside information from one of those Dutch guys, you can get all kinds of goodies there, include some Stupa waffles. And Don Lyles is here. Woohoo! We got a party going on.
We're gonna need a bigger castle.
Well, I think that basically does our segment on things that make the king go home. We're going to move into our sponsorship of Game Toppers, and then we're going to go into our game show with our special guest.
This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
Well, I'm so happy to and excited to talk about Game Toppers at the drop of a hat. And of course, here it gives me another opportunity to just give you some information. Game Toppers is live on their late pledge manager right now. So you can go in and get almost all of the great deals, over 20 stretch goals that were unlocked, including map bundles, our Galactic Mycroft, the Galactic Watson. These are interchangeable acrylic rails that are just amazing. People rave about them. And then all the new terrain wargaming maps and the terrain packs, plus map bundles that are some of the best prices of the mats we've ever had. And you can still late pledge from our 4.5 Galactic Kickstarter. And we're going to keep that baby open through the end of October. So there's still a chance for you to get in on all of those amazing savings. Seriously, if you check out the Kickstarter, you're going to find our new dungeon fantasy role-playing map from Brent Woodside with the 1-inch squares and the dragon that matches the D&D themed acrylic rails that we did on the 4.5 campaign. It's like out of this world cool. I can't tell you how much better it looks in person. the new Galactic Deck Builder map that is just like perfect for playing games like Star Realms and Star Wars Unlimited. And of course, one of my favorites, Star Wars The Deck Builder. And we've just recently played the Clone Wars Deck Builder on it. It's just super cool. You can take advantage of those new offerings. But one thing we did that was different than we've ever done before is we offered some of our map bundles where, for instance, the 4-pack where you could get, we have 32 styles from some of the top board game artists in the industry, like Vincent Dutray and Yaroslav Radecki and Amber Scarf and John McCambridge, Xavier Inkgolem, some of the top board game artists that are, and we've put a lot of attention to detail in 12 different sizes. So almost any size that you could want. Premium 3mm double stitched edge, heavy density neoprene with amazing quality graphics. And you can take advantage of that 4-mat bundle and you actually get a 5th mat free. That's right. It's crazy. Plus you got discounted shipping and all kinds of benefits. And if you're overseas, if you're in Europe or the United Kingdom and you're listening to this, I got to tell you, you can still get onto it. We're going to be shipping all this stuff out in January, February. So it's going to be a quick turnaround on that. You can still take advantage of those much lower shipping rates. So it's like $20 now to ship overseas when we do it in bulk. So I'd encourage you to check out GameToppersLLC.com, or you can go to Kickstarter and see the 4.5 Galactic Game Toppers campaign. We'd love to have you a part of Game Topper Nation. And with that, Barry, let's introduce our next segment.
Someone in Babylon has been a very naughty person and been thrown into the dungeons of Babylon. But Berkey and Badger are nice people, and they're going to give them 3 questions to try and worm their way out of their prison sentence in What Game is Behind the Door?
Hey. Well, I didn't know that. So, you're kidding me, right?
You didn't know what?
No.
Oh, you're not.
No.
He never got the Google Doc with the 3 parts of the game show. I emailed it to you. See, this is what's called professional podcasting, folks.
Okay.
So, Barry, can you just send that to him real quick?
Well, if not that, I can just wing it, and hey, you're really going to interrogate me.
We're going to wing it then. That's what it's going to go.
Okay.
We're nothing if not improvisational.
Oh, absolutely.
You're good at this kind of stuff because you're a theater guy. I just saw your picture with all the spaghetti all over it, you know.
Yeah, I had fake blood all over me from Evil Dead the Musical going on this weekend.
Cool.
Woo-hoo. Is that your last showing this weekend, or?
That's our only showing. So we just have it for one weekend, but boy, oh boy, they have got this thing. The set is amazing, built with all this old barn wood to look like an old cabin in the woods. The lighting is incredible, projections on the sides to really make the entire theater look like the cabin. I'm amazed to be part of this production. Truly amazed.
Cool. With such catchy songs as Hit It. Oh, sorry. Hit her, hit it.
Well, let's see. If I can, my one that I have here is, gosh darn you, woman, you bleeping stabbed me. And on and on. So we kept that family friendly there a little bit. So
yeah. Yeah. And the ever so popular What Happened to Her Eyes?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right. Well, Barry, you're going to have to do a good job here of explaining the 3 parts of our game show to our guests.
So yeah, just to let you know, Scott, I've just emailed you the question. So if you find it,
very good.
Skim ahead Okay, so
Yes.
question number 1 out of 3 is, what is the last game that you purchased? Which might be quite easy for you to go, yes. And we're going to do this in 20 questions kind of format, where we'll be asking a question each, and you either answer yes or no. And there will be no component moment. Let me repeat. No component moment, because you're not going to have a chance to go and get the game, are you?
Oh, no. Actually, I'm seeing it right in front of me, so.
Okay, so you can give us components then, because we need to see the components.
Yes.
Oh, I can grab it here then.
So blank out his screen for a second. Let's go let the prisoner.
Yeah, let the prisoner remove his clothing.
We're so going to lock him up forever. We're so going to lock him up forever.
Oh,
see, our guests have been winning quite a bit lately. And so this was actually intentional. It was deliberate. It's kind of like a Halloween special.
I thought these people were your friends.
Oh, he is, but we're going to keep him in the dungeon nonetheless.
Well, yeah, but he's your friend. He helped you.
I could go down there and feed him every now and then.
You'd be better off putting him down in the fruit cellar.
No, it'd be like dungeon pets.
It would be like dungeon pets.
We'll have to clean up his poo.
There's somebody in
my fruit cellar. On. I'm cleaner than that.
Okay, enough of the silliness.
Yeah. So we're going to ask you a question each, and then you're going to show us one component from the game.
And you're trying to stump us
5 times.
You're trying to stump us so you can get out of the dungeon.
All right.
All right. So I will start off with the questions, and I'm going to use my standard question. Is it in the size of a Ticket to Ride box?
That it is.
It is. Okay, you show us the component after the fact too, and we don't mention designers, by the way.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes. Colors. Excellent. All right, so Badger.
Okay, so is this game been released in the past 2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Now, this is where you grab a component.
Why don't you narrow it down to 1 year? So now you got to ask another question.
Because that's too precise, that is. That's okay, good. And then...
Get down to the nitty-gritty. Okay, component.
Okay, any component?
Any component.
At least conspicuous one.
Okay, it's got a little... Is that a dice or is that a cardboard chip? Okay, it's a little piece of wood that's kind of pinkish in color. And it has a star, and it's like a 7 or 8 sided star, like a starburst.
Yes.
Okay, so that could be an impact, or that could be a hit, or It's a piece of wood.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right.
I would have a guess.
Favorite game. Okay, go ahead.
It's not favorite game. It's the most recently purchased game.
Most recently purchased.
Did you not get the email either?
I never get the email. And if I did, I surely don't read them. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to guess at Barbie Combat Arena.
So close. So very close.
So close, but no cigar. Well, I'm going to pass on this one. I'm not sure on that note.
Question number 2 then.
Is this a worker placement game?
It is not. No.
No placement.
Is there a map in this game?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Somewhat of a map. Well, now, somewhat's not a yes or no, so you have to give us a little more information.
It's a map that can change each time you play.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's helpful. Map changes.
Okay, component moment number 2.
Component moment.
All right.
Should make a jingle.
Let us go with.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, he's giving us another little wooden bit. But this looks like a little worker, and you said it wasn't a worker placement.
It is. I guess it is. Well, I haven't had a chance to really play it, so I just tore it out of the shrink.
So it is a worker placement game.
It looks like it could be, yes. I apologize for
that. It's all misdirection. It's all misdirection.
Well, there will be something here that should give it away.
He's just gonna say maybe for everything. Gosh, and that was kind of a pink color too.
More of a red.
Pink,
more of a red. Red.
Yes.
Could we say fuchsia or that's more red? Crimson.
Red.
Crimson. Red.
Crimson.
Okay, red like my shirt, like my hoodie.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Okay. I'm making no guesses.
Gosh. I'm still not tracking on this one, so we'll go to the third question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use up one of my guesses though anyway, because we can guess. I'm gonna say, and I don't think this is the case, but oh no, I just realized it's definitely not that. Okay, forget it. We'll go on to number 3. Number 3.
So, a component?
No, I'm giving the question.
Okay.
Is this a space-themed game?
Yes.
Something about that star.
Yeah.
In there.
Okay. Past years.
I haven't played it, so that I wouldn't know, but okay,
yeah.
I got an idea.
Is this game based on an IP?
No.
No. Okay.
It's not an IP.
Okay. Component moment number 3.
Component moment. Right. Here it is. Oh, is that a board?
Yeah,
it's a small board.
Oh my goodness.
So it looks like resources. It looks like the night sky. That looks like, is it an anvil? No, it's not. It's an anvil. It's not an anvil. It's a telescope. Okay. I'm sure someone will get that.
I haven't opened it. I've got my copy, but it's not Andromeda's Edge.
No,
I didn't think so. I don't know if I know. That almost looks like Dune, but all right.
0 here.
0. Okay, number 4. Is this a European game?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It looks like it's a game about astrology. Is that the case?
No.
Okay.
No. So I bet he bought this at Spiel. And, I gave him a Game Topper tote, and he had it full of games. He had it so full of games that we couldn't move in that car. Scott Walton had games coming out of his wazoo. I mean, he had wazoos full of games. Oh, my goodness. I just don't know.
Well, it's component moment number 4.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
It looks like a planet. It's a card. For those of you that are listening, it's got victory points on it. Yeah, typical card. It's got a little tag, I think. So is this an okay? Oh gosh, I just don't know what this is.
I'm gonna guess at SETI. which seems to be like
yeah.
No.
That was a great guess.
Yeah.
That was a very good guess.
Can we please have it be Seti?
You want some more spaghetti?
Yeah. Or his blouse. Remember that time when I was in my glory and I spilled spaghetti all over my blouse? All right. I'm amusing myself now. Number five is I just don't know what it is.
No.
Is this produced in the last year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, that narrows it down a little bit.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it was.
I don't think there's any question that I could ask which would narrow anything down. So I will say
You say there's too many games.
Yeah. I will say, was this game heavy to carry?
Heavy what?
No.
Okay.
Heavy to
Component
carry.
moment number 5.
Unbelievable.
Okay. It's another part of the board, which shows the score track. It also shows like a building interior, which looks like a church of some sort with some spaces on the bottom with silhouettes. For you podcast listeners, of course.
He
it looks
obviously
like a
got
church.
this. Yeah, it looks cool. It's got a score tracker on there, and
Wow.
it looks like it's got different. Yeah, it's definitely a church. It looks like stained glass windows or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the bottom, because there's different religious scenes. It looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. But I think you've stumped us, Scott.
I'm gonna guess the name of it is called Cathedrals.
No, it is not.
It sounds like cathedrals. I didn't mean to say cathedrals. It sounds like cathedrals. Is it polyhedrals? Something like that. All right, you got to tell us what it is and tell us a little bit about it.
This was a game that whenever I saw it was being released there, it went right to the top of my list of games I had to get. And that is Galileo Galilei.
Oh, okay.
So I have not had a chance to play it. I've been stuck in rehearsals here since I've been back from Essen. But it's just the whole idea of you have different things with Galileo and Tycho Brahe and Copernicus is in here. Right away, my mind was just bouncing off the wall with excitement, waiting to play this game. It's just the theme of it had me excited. The look of it was just amazing, and I'm so thoroughly excited to give this thing a try.
Wow. So what it's like getting constellations and stuff like that, or it looks like there's kind of a, like you said, there's a map that's changing.
Yes, you change the different planets that you're going to be doing. So basically what it says here is, welcome to the 16th, 17th century. In this era, Europe embraced new scientific ideas. Learned astronomers shifted from gazing at the heavens at the naked eye to using the first telescopes. Join them in their awe-inspiring astronomical observations. However, you must exercise caution. The church remains vigilant. Heretical ideas shall be severely punished.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Tim got it on the chat.
Oh.
Yeah. Well done, Tim. The Galileo game.
Yeah, we gotta check into that. Right. That's how we cheat, is when we look at the because then we get all the helpers, we need a little help, right?
Yeah, right. So well done. Question 1 was won by Scott. But will he win question 2? Oh dear. The question is, what game is he most excited about getting? It might be a Kickstarter from the future. It might be a game which has been announced as a release, or it may be a game that he so wants, but he can't get it where he is, and he has to wait until the winds change direction and a copy flies into his hand. And normally we do this in a drawing style. So Scott would draw us an image, and we would have to guess the game. Does he have paper and pen handy?
I do.
Oh,
and our notes do say either live or prepared beforehand. So watching you do it live is very exciting for us.
Oh, it's going to be very live.
All right. So he's thinking about what he's so excited about getting, and he's going to try to put it into a drawing. Now, he's a really good drawer. He's a good drawer, and his mama said he was a really good eater, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's a good eater.
Okay, so
We need drawing music.
Yeah, I'm just while he's drawing, I'm thinking of which character he'd be in Evil Dead. He looks, I don't know, he looks like Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe.
Well, it's actually funny because I played Jake, who is Bobby Joe's husband.
Husband, yeah. I was close, but no cigar.
All right.
Oh wow!
Are you ready?
Oh man,
of course.
He's a fast drawer too.
Well, it's not all that great of a drawer here. So now this is one I'm excited about getting.
Ooh.
Was this a Kickstarter?
Yes.
Okay, so we have. It looks like maybe like the tip of a spear, but it's shaped kind of like the Klingon emblem. Would you say that that's a tip of a spear, or is that a sword, or is it a emblem?
It is a sword.
It's a sword.
It's a very specific sword, though, isn't it?
I like swords. Is it Gandalf's sword?
Gandalf doesn't have a sword. Well, he does have a sword.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
He's got gambling, right?
He's got gangrene. That's
no, gambling. Come on. Oh, so a sword.
Oh, I'm looking at the answers.
A sword.
Okay.
And he's excited about getting this game. So this was a Kickstarter. Okay, we need some more pictures on there because that was not very much
this one
to go on. I mean, we want the whole scene. I mean, this.
Oh God. Yeah. I can't believe this is going out live here, but okay.
This is a family show. Oh, look at this. Yeah. There's a skull in a box. That's it's like a skull. No, it's like a cloak around his head.
Yes. Well done to I'm gonna say.
Oh, is this the new Champions of Midgard?
No, it's not. It's the Masters of the Universe.
Because that's Skeletor. Oh, Tim Douglas got it, and he is he is one of our favorite helpers in the kingdom, and his guesses count as our guesses.
Do you battle cat?
Oh no, that's the way it is. So let's go to the chat. Let's see what people are saying here.
Oh dear. They're saying, my name is Adam, Prince of Eternia, Defenders of the Secrets of Castle Grayscale. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. A fabulous secret was revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, by the power of Grayskull. Shall I carry on?
He-Man. He-Man, yeah. You battle cat.
Did you see my Skeletor? You think I'm going to pull off Battle Cat?
Well,
Absolutely not.
Well, the Skeletor is actually pretty good. Now I get it.
Yeah, it's like he didn't say no more bones or something like that.
Oh well. Okay, so we're one. Scott's got us on 1, and we're even now 1-1 because we are
okay.
counting Patrick.
But we need to know why he's anticipating.
We're counting
Masters of the
Tim's
Universe.
Well,
yeah, tell us about it.
It's really got to be the nostalgia thing. I'm a big fan of the G.I. Joe deck building game from Renegade. Love that game. So that was something else. Once again, back in the day, you always would watch that. And He-Man was something that was on. It was just such a moment in time with all the toys and the cartoons and everything like that. It was just a time that imagination just seemed to be exploding everywhere. And
and you always had multiple bowls of Lucky Charms.
Oh, well, I was more Count Chocula.
Oh yeah, well, and Captain Crunch.
Oh,
but rub the top of your roof of your mouth right off.
Oh God, yes.
It's like another fine abrasive from 3M. Okay, go ahead.
But the idea that they came out with the game before, and it was more of it seemed like a board game type of thing. This one here comes across as a skirmish type of game. And I like the idea of building your different little team and taking it up against another team. It just looks like a lot of fun. I saw that, I'm trying to remember the name, Arcane has that coming out, and they were nearby us. They had the boxes, so that means that hopefully my boxes will be coming to me soon. And I just can't wait to get that out and start painting them and just having a good time with that. Even if I don't get it to the table and play it, it's just going to be fun painting the miniatures and really creating that whole world again.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, they're bringing back all these fun childhood memory stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. Part number 3.
Okay, question number 3 is, what is the current favorite game of Scott? The game that he dreams about, the game that he wants to play right now instead of talking to us. That game that is just dominating his life at the moment and his every waking thought. And we're going to do this in 5 one-word answers.
I should interrupt quickly. I might know the answer to this because he was telling me about this. So just to make it fair, because we want to be fair, unless we do want to cheat. Do we want to cheat?
I'm not sure what I told you.
Well, you were telling me about this game that you were obsessed with, and it had the word obsessed in it. Like obsession. And so I would have guessed it not even knowing what the game is. Did I guess it right already?
Yeah.
Okay, so we better do a different one because you were telling me how obsessed you were with it.
All right. I've got another one that I've been playing quite a bit here that I can. Yep, I got a second one here.
Okay,
so
cool.
You're going to need to give us 5 one-word cryptic clues.
Where did you do the cryptic thing? We don't have the cryptic in the notes. Don't tell them to do it.
I added it.
You're changing it up.
I'm talking to a fellow intelligent person who would go, cryptic clues.
Well, thank you for calling me intelligent. I like that.
Okay. I've got it here. Okay. Ready for the first clue?
Yeah, I got to warm up here a little bit.
All right.
Okay. Feels strong.
This one here is tiles.
Tiles.
I'm going to shoot with Azul.
No.
Okay, I got a guess. Do you have a guess?
Okay.
Badger?
Where have you
I have
been?
a guess. Do you have it? You just froze for a second.
All right.
Did you just guess?
I just guessed. And
What did
Scott
you guess?
heard me. Because we froze together. Scott and I froze together, and you were still just...
I'm still bopping around.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, what did you guess?
I guessed Heroescape. From Tiles.
Okay, I'm guessing World Wonders.
Nope, on both.
No.
Baka.
All right. Next one. Mountain.
Mountains. Okay.
Let's go
I have
with
a guess.
Carcassonne.
No.
Cascadia.
No.
Okay.
No.
Next one. Spirits.
Spirits.
That better not be in the title. Spirit Island.
Nope. Nope. Not in the title.
Okay. Tiles, mountains, spirits. This is your current favorite game?
I am having a hard time not playing it, really.
Okay, I'm not sure about that one. I'll pass.
Mm-hmm. Word number 4.
Okay, number 4. Torches.
Torches and pitchforks.
Wow. Totally thrown. No guess.
Torches. Well, there's this game I'm trying to think of. I think Capstone Games has it. They just released a Pagan.
No.
Okay.
Fifth one is Path.
Path?
Yes, Path.
Path, torches, spirit, mountain, tiles.
Tiles, path, torches, spirit, mountains.
Wow.
Tiles to the mountains, path to the mountains.
Sounds like an interesting adventure game.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
No idea.
I don't know. Above and below.
No. Shall I give you the answer?
Yeah, you stumped us. You're getting out of the dungeon. Dang it.
The name of the game is Solstice.
Ooh.
And I just saw the physical copy at Essen. I've been playing it on Board Game Arena nonstop. And what you're doing is you are laying tiles that are either, the tiles will have a number on them and a color. And what you're going to do is you're trying to build a path to connect as many tiles as you can together. Now, what you're going to do is you take one tile from 3 that you have in front of you, and then there's a set of tiles in front of you, and you can pick up another one that is either the same number or the same color. You place it down and you build this mountain. As you build it up, you want to build a path from the highest point down to the lowest point. And whenever the game is over, whenever all the tiles are gone, you get points for how many you have all together going from the top to the bottom. Plus, also at the very top, you have torches. And those torches will give you bonus points if you connect them all the way from the top to the bottom. Now, whenever you get 4 that are all together in a little box, they have different spirits that will give you a special one-off ability or different points at the end of the game. Whereas you'll see there that what's he has up there with the fly. You put the fly down, you get to steal a tile from someone else and kind of mess up their plans. You might put down the marmot where you get a second turn. You might get a beetle where you're able to take one of the tiles from the setup at the top, or the squirrel where you're able to, all the tiles you have left over that can't match, they automatically get placed at the end of the game. It's a real quick game, maybe 10, 12 minutes. And like I said, I don't have a copy myself, but I've been playing it on Board Game Arena. It seems to be extremely popular in France. Most of the people I play against are from France. And it's really a fun, quick little game you can play in 10 minutes. And I think that's what makes it so much fun. That brings me back to it all the time, is that the rules are extremely simple to pick up on. You can play it very quickly. and you don't really have to put a lot of thought into it, but you're still doing an activity. It's just keeping your mind occupied. So it's a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't even heard of this, so that's interesting.
I have seen a lot of pictures on Bruno Cathala's Facebook page of this game.
Is it a Bruno Cathala game?
It's a Bruno Cathala game, published by Lumberjack Studios, again, French publisher. So that's probably why it's circulating around the French, playing arena. So,
wow,
but cool. Yes, it's really a fun, enjoyable little game. Whenever I saw it at Essen, the footprint that you would have on your table is extremely small. So it's something that easily could play at a coffee shop or something like that, take with you pretty much anywhere. So that's another thing that I really enjoy with that.
Cool. All right, well, we're going to move on to our next segment. But before we do so, we want to introduce you to our other sponsor that's been with us since we started the Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble Show, our good friends at Arcane Wonders. I got the opportunity to talk to Robert Geislinger, the Grand Poobah in charge at Essen, and it was so much fun seeing this incredible, they were one of the largest sponsors of the Spiel Fair this year, and they had an amazing setup with some amazing games. They were doing Video Game Champion, and they were having championships of Video Game Champion. Now, I haven't had a chance to review this game or see this game yet, but it's bringing back some of those old classic type of video games, and in that format, the other games that they've also had was the hit game Foundations of Rome, but then its companion, a little bit more accessible version, Foundations of Metropolis, where it's just a great auction bidding, tile placement type of game where you're getting victory points from placing adjacent things, adjacent buildings next to them, and it's such a fun. Foundations of Rome is one of my favorite games. I just absolutely love the over-the-top production. But Foundations of Metropolis by Emerson Matsuuchi is a very similar game, just made in a little bit more bite-sized, rethemed format. You also have a really fun little card game called Vegetable Stock. And then, of course, World Wonders and the Mondo expansion is available. They have some big things coming up. Got to tell you, I can't talk about some of them, but they are very exciting things that are in the works from Arcane Wonders. Freedom 5 is ready to be launched worldwide, getting updates about that, which is super exciting. And then, of course, they are getting ready to launch into retail the Call of Duty, and for all of the Kickstarter backers within a short period of time. So you can go ahead and check out arcanewonders.com. And with that, we're going to go into the Babble topic.
And now it's time for the Babble, 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 Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble.
Woohoo!
Catchy little tune.
Yeah, well, that's the jester himself and his creative genius. Yes, babbling about all that is Essen. Essen is a beautiful place full of lots and lots of backpacks. I know this because I kept running into them. At almost any moment, someone would turn around and hit me at the backpack.
Also, a number of suitcases.
The
number of people that had suitcases that were dragging around behind them.
Dragging along a suitcase.
Yeah, it's a business convention, isn't it?
I guess.
Yeah.
Less children's carts, strollers.
Yeah.
A lot more. Yeah. I saw a lot more suitcases than I saw strollers. Seems like I've seen a lot of strollers at Gen Con.
Kids there are all walking and playing. That's what it is. And they're not being dragged around. It's the kids that are dragging the parents around.
Oh, it's true, because there's so many different kids areas and kids games that they can play these ginormous games, and they're all these activities, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the amount of times you have at a table a child that looks like they're 8 or 10, and they're playing a game which is for 14 years and plus. It's like, yeah, they don't care. These Germans.
I have a hot topic I want to talk about before we actually get into all the different questions and different things we're going to talk about at Essen. But Gen Con sells tickets to Gen Con. And when you buy a ticket, you're counted as one person, one entry. And they sell 70,000 tickets. So they say they have 70,000 attendees. However, the Spiel does it differently. They do what is called turnstile. That means if you walk in the building with your ticket, you're counted once. You go out and you come back later that day, you're counted again. If you show up for 4 days, you're counted 4 times. If you go in and out each one of those times, it's 8 for that one person that attended 4 times and went out for lunch every day. Okay. The question is, they don't reveal how many tickets they actually sold. From what I could tell, there's a lot of people at Essen, and I think more so than at Gen Con. I could be wrong about this, but it seems like there's more people that just come for 1 or 2 days at Essen than all 4 days. Now, I could be wrong about that because they sell a lot of individual day passes. And so maybe they have a hard time. But what I'm trying to figure out is which one is actually the biggest as far as attendees. I can analyze it from a standpoint of how much space they have, how many vendors they have, what I think the people look like. But the attendees is the one that I'm a little bit not sure about. So perspectives on that.
Well, one thing that really stuck out for me that I noticed was that this was not a gaming convention. Whereas you go to Origins, you have the vendor hall that's open, you pick up games, you stay there and you play games there till midnight or whenever. And this one here seemed that once it closed, boom, that's it. You're done. You're going home. So I think that would really kind of show the idea of people just getting a one-day pass, going in and doing their thing and leaving. Whereas Origins or Gen Con, you're going in to play games for an extended period of time. It's kind of, I know the Cabal guys always talk about it being summer camp for gamers, where they're getting together for meeting up with friends they haven't seen since last year, playing games for an extended period of time. Whereas it really surprised me how it really became like a ghost town around Essen, around the Spiel, where once 7 o'clock hit, boom, everyone starts clearing out. 8 o'clock, you're out. That's it. So I think that really kind of shows the idea of, I think Essen's probably a little bit bigger, actually, because of doing those, each one of those separately. They're going to have separate people coming each day, whereas opposed to Gen Con or whatever, they're going to buy that one weekend pass. So I think it might have been a bit bigger at Essen.
Yeah, I see. Gen Con, I think, is very similar too, because there's no place to play games at Gen Con except that library is always full. Everybody heads off to the hotels to play at Gen Con. So it's similar in that regard to Gen Con in my view, but each convention has a pretty good amount of space that people are demoing games. But like you say, you're not really playing games.
Right.
Barry, what are your thoughts? You've been to Gen Con a few times.
Yeah. But for me, it's the whole European thing. It's like if it was a car showroom and a car exhibition. It's open at this time, it closes at this time. People come, they look at the cars, they touch the stuff or whatever. Or if it's a computer expo, that's what it is. I think the mentality is different between the American shows and this one, because people go there to go and play and meet their friends and do stuff. At Essen, it's a show where you look at the new products, you get a chance to test them, and then you can buy them and move on. It's not the same kind of atmosphere.
I'm wondering,
not the same kind of people that are there as well. So
those that are in the chat, feel free to jump in and give us your opinions. If you've been to Essen, you've been to Gen Con, you can feel free to, throughout this whole conversation, to chime in. Gen Con feels very much like a trade show to me. It's very chaotic. There's a ton of vendors. It's very much like Essen, a ton of vendors, ton of people. But when Gen Con has moved into Lucas Oil Stadium, so a lot of the events and play area things are over there now as well. But so if you take Lucas Oil Stadium and combine it with the convention center, yeah, there's a lot of space, probably bigger than Essen. However, Essen, it's 7 halls.
Yeah,
7 halls of stuff, and I'm convinced there are more vendors there. I mean, I forget the number. Was it 890?
There were 6 halls. Hall 7 and 7 and 8 were empty.
Oh,
People
you're
would
right.
come in through them.
Yeah, we walked through Hall 7. So that was an event in itself. So that was like a standing where each person was a booth.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6 halls. and it was crowded. It was hard to get from one place to the other.
Oh, yeah.
Gen Con, though, is the same thing. It's like you can't move in there. So I'm trying to analyze the size is what I'm trying to say as far as attendees.
Yeah.
That's my only comparison that I'm really talking about, not so much how they function, but the turnstile versus that I really can't get a read on it. I don't know if other people do, but I got to give the edge to Essen for the total amount of people because of but I could be wrong. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, it was also kind of an interesting thing with 2 parts here. One with what was it? Thursday was the German national holiday, so everyone was off of work, so that gave more people to come out that day. Plus, also, I feel that Essen seemed to be more like a festival in that you had that Galleria with all the food trucks and everything. So
yeah.
Go get food. Even in the places where you had like loading docks in between the different halls, there were places set up. You could get food and hang out and sit in there. So it was like a self-contained festival almost in itself. Once again, I don't think it really hits on the idea of which one may have been bigger, but just the feeling of it was a much different feel than what I think an American show would be. I haven't been to Gen Con yet, so it's just
so you're comparative, yeah, because Gen Con has a great big food area too, and all kinds of food trucks and a lot of special spaces.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Well, that was just a topic I think about Essen that I'm thinking. The bottom line is it's a huge show, and I think the booth presence is quite amazing. They really do up their booths. I think Gen Con has the publishers are starting to do up their spaces equally as elaborate. But in the past, I think Essen has been definitely the forerunner of these amazing trade show booths. Setups that are really cool. So what were we all doing at Essen? Barry, you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, I was working.
He was working.
I was demoing. So, for Bombay X.
For Bombay X.
Yeah.
And what were you demoing particularly?
Well, the new game Refuge, which is coming out very, very soon. Tile placement push-your-luck game. Also demoing the new Takinoko Color, which is a roll and color game based on the Takinoko pandas and bamboo. Also demoing the Abyss new 10th anniversary little mini pack expansion, as well as the new expansion for L'Heure, which is in English, I can't remember. Orb, so it's Dawn and Shadow or something like that. I can't remember. And of course, the great game Kna and Pixies and Sea Salt and Paper. So I did a lot of that with lots of families, lots of smiley faces. Can't go wrong.
How about you there, Scott?
Well, I was working at the Game Topper booth, so busy with that. And in the time that I was off, just kind of walking around and taking it all in. There really wasn't anything that I was especially there to see, because it was kind of a last minute thing that I was that you called me to go. So I didn't really have anything planned per se. So it kind of gave me the freedom to just go around and take it all in. And that's what I think I tried to do the best, was just experience what was going on. Working at the booth was, as I said, it was fantastic, talking with so many people and seeing their eyes light up with different ideas and different games. And it's such a wonderful time joking with them and just having laughs with people. And I think that's one of the special things that really happened there.
Yeah, Scott, you do a great job introducing yourself to people, and lighthearted and friendly. Likewise, I was super swamped just being in the booth. Yeah. We're going to have a 20 by 20 booth, and then because they were oversold, we ended up being one of the companies that was cut. And we hadn't been to Essen since 2019, pre-pandemic, and so this was reintroducing ourselves into the European market. In a sense, we do the UK Games Show every year, but we hadn't been back to Essen. And then I checked about 3 weeks after I got the notification, just to double check if they had anything that had canceled or whatever. And sure enough, we had a little 12 or 13 foot by 16 foot booth that we were able to at least, have our mats out and a couple game toppers and be able to show people a little bit about what we do. And the response was just super overwhelming. Everybody, it was almost like, oh, I've never seen this before. Why didn't somebody think about this? This is so cool. Mm. And so I thought that was really good. I had one gentleman come up to me. Actually, this is probably I'll save that one for later. But that's what I was doing there too. And I had very little time away from the booth. The time away that I had from the booth was really not looking at anything or doing anything on personal fun side. It was much more business relationship things that I had to go do, quick meetings and things of that nature. And so it was all business, and yet I got to see the show a little bit. Mm-hmm. So what caught your eye at the show, Scott?
The show. I mean, it was not being gone to Gen Con. This was huge. I mean, you look at it and you see all these booths, the amount of lights and everything. What was it? I was amazed by GameGenics. I mean, they must have used half their budget on neon, I think, for their booths that they had. Yep. It looked like something like a set from Star Trek: The Next Generation almost. But just seeing the booths and the people and the different types of food and the spicy water, that was interesting. I was not expecting that. But yeah, just about everything caught my eye. I mean, I was just, like I said earlier, was just walking around with my mouth hanging open like, wow.
So when did the spicy water take you by surprise? When you drank it or the morning after?
Oh, when I drank it, it was just like, oh, hello, there are bubbles in this. Yeah. And then I had to order still water from then on out. So.
Yeah, it's there was so much to see, right? Barry, was there something that you saw that was particularly stood out?
No, not really. Everything was cool. Everything was great. I mean, nothing stood out. It was nice just to see a Catan big banner in front of you. That just warmed your heart. It's like, I'm here again. This is paradise. But yeah, too busy working, too busy socializing as well. Didn't have chance to say, oh my God, what's that over there? I must go and check that out. There was none of that at all. No chance.
Well, I did get to see one thing that kind of got me excited, and I had seen it before the show, but just in casual, game found advertisements type of things. But there's this game from a company out there called Ops Septimum. And what they have is a new Egyptian themed game. I pulled it up. Did I show you that?
This one?
That's the one. So this is a game called Tamira, and it's Egyptian themed. Beautiful artwork. The GameFound campaign is over now, but they had over 1,400 backers. It raised like 136,000 euros. You know, it's like $160,000. It looks so amazing. I went over there and talked to them a little bit about it, and we have our ancient Egypt map, and I started talking to them about that postscriptum. And I started talking to Mario about it, and they needed some help with fulfillment of their product in North America, which we could help out because we for other companies, and we do fulfillment in North America. And so I brought them over one of our Egyptian themed mats, and they demoed Tamira on that mat at the show. And so it was super cool. I think I sent you a picture of that mat, Barry. But this was one of these things that I just saw. And there's the ancient Egypt map, and you're seeing the game actually set up. It's like the color palette couldn't have been more perfect.
Right.
Just really cool. And they were super thrilled with it. Of course, the mat didn't quite fit their table they had there, but this was a really interesting look. So I'm kind of excited to learn more about it and hopefully work with these people. But I love these ancient Egypt themed games. So it's got a really cool little worker placement, first in, first out type of mechanism. And yeah, very interesting. So that was one thing that caught my eye. Another thing that caught my eye was a couple companies actually. And it was Arcane Wonders had this amazing booth. I mean, it was just blew my mind at how large a space they had. Mm-hmm. And they were one of the premier sponsors. And of course, we sponsored them, but I was interested in that. And then I saw likewise AEG, Alderatic Entertainment Group. They have 10 game toppers in their booth, but their booth, they had these neon or transparent lights behind the panels of all their graphics. And it was the coolest thing ever. And so I'm seeing these companies, Mind Clash Games, another company we're an affiliate with that have some of our toppers in North America. But just the booth presence was so impressive. And Inside Up Games, my goodness, they had an amazing looking booth. So it's just super impressed with how they actually market and merchandise their product. And we threw our booth together really quickly, and we didn't have time to have that type of a presence. But hopefully going forward, we'll be able to increase that look. Our booth looked pretty nice for what it was, but
our personalities lit up that hall.
Come to Hall 1. Come all. Forget about Warhammer. Come and look at these tables. We had such a great crew there. And I was so impressed with Scott and with both Raymonds are from Netherlands. Mm-hmm. Raymond Doomray and Raymond Hawken. These guys are they just love our product. Raymond Doomray, he didn't have much familiarity with our product. He's a friend of the other Raymond. And, you know, it was, he was excited to be there. Of course, he does board game photography and he's a gamer and whatnot, but he had never been demoing a game. And that guy, we just showed him a little bit about our product and he was so impressed with it. And before you know it, I mean, he was there in front of everybody, just doing an amazing job. And he commented, he said, I didn't know about this, but this is awesome. I thought this is awesome. and he said, I want to keep doing this. People love this. This is not hard to sell. This is awesome.
That was his word.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. And he'd say, oh yeah. And he's ready to go to the UK Games Expo with us and come back again at Essen. And it was this way with with you and the other Raymond Hawken as well. Just so willing to promote the product and meet people and be yourselves and really care about people and care about their gaming and see what we could do to help them. It was awesome. So what games did you buy?
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Well,
the silent.
I couldn't pick up that much because I had to fit things in a bag to fly back to America, but I did pick up Galileo Galilei. That was one I was very interested in. Another one I was very interested in was Rasafa. That was another one I saw. And it just the look of it, the board, what looked like the mechanics, it just looked like something that just fits in my wheelhouse. And that was another one I had to pick up there. Then there was another one from Raymond Hawker had told me. It was Andromeda Escape, not Andromeda's Edge, but Andromeda's Escape. And it's a bit of an abstract game where you're trying to get your ships into this wormhole to escape the galaxy you're in. But as you move in, you're blocking other people's way in, and you have to find ways around. So it's an interesting little game there. It doesn't take that long to play, but a nice abstract. And that was pretty much all that I picked up at Essen, unfortunately. But I could have picked up quite a few more, actually, but I held back. Thanks to GW trying to shove their products down my throat. But I held off.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And when you're muling it all the way to the United States, it's a whole different story, right? I know a lot of people ship stuff back. Barry, did you buy anything?
I picked up a Board Game Geek t-shirt and beanie hat.
Okay.
That was it.
That was it.
I was on the budget.
I picked up one game, a kid's game, or family game, dexterity, called Toss It. It's got these little silicone, and it plays kind of like bocce. You throw the black one on and kids were playing this like crazy, so that's why I thought kids game right away. But adults were too. But they stick to like tiles or glass, so you can throw them at the wall or you can throw them on the floor. Like when I brought it home, they don't really stick. They got suction cups and they're kind of this flexible silicone, and you throw it. And the black one is like the ball in bocce. And then you throw your other ones and you're getting points of whoever's the closest to it. And these things just stick, and, they're bulletproof. You can, just sit and play with them. And so I knew my grandkids were just going to totally dig it. And it works great on our wood floor. You just throw them over there and whoop, just sticks. And so I think we're going to have a ton of fun playing that just silly little dexterity type of game, with the right. They do make a flat kind of like a plastic type of board that you can throw it to that have different goals and points and things like that. But it's kind of fun. But that's the only game I bought.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's hard to bring them back, first off, but then secondly, it's I've got so many games. I just rarely buy a game anymore. I back Kickstarters and things like that. But did you see any people that you weren't expecting to see, or people you were hoping to see that you didn't see? Scott?
Oh, well, I was surprised to see one of our friends, Sam Stockton from BA Games. He was there demoing games, so it was great to see him. We've met up with him at Origins, at PAX, had a great time with him. So it's good seeing him. Went out to dinner one night at a really German pub. There was no English being spoken there. So luckily we had the two Raymonds with us, and they helped us out with the ordering. So that was good. But also saw Bernie Lim from Dead Alive Games. He was there with their Cyber Pet Quest game that's coming out. So it was good seeing Bernie. That's another one that we've had on our show a couple of times as well. didn't get a chance to see Connor from Inside Up. Normally, I always see him, no matter what. He'll surprise you, come out of nowhere. But never got a chance to see him. But it was just fun walking around and like seeing people that you see their names on games. It's like, that's that person. Like whenever you introduced Ryan Lockett, I'm like, that's wow. I'm still in the like wow moment of us doing the show, in meeting these people that have such an effect on your hobby, and you play their games, and it's just like, this is so cool. So it's an amazing moment there. So yeah, it was a good time seeing people. Met a couple people that listened to our show. I mean, that shocked me there. I don't think anybody really listens to Patrick and I just BSing about board games, but they do. So that was a lot of fun with that. So it was a special time.
Yeah, it's Barry. How about you? What was special connections or people you wanted to see that you missed out on?
Oh, there's lots of people that I missed out on seeing. It was just could never get round to their stands, or they weren't there, and it's like, so yeah, apologies if I didn't see it, especially like Evan. Oh, I was meant to go and see Evan, but didn't see him.
Evan Halbert or
yeah,
Evan?
That's the one. I didn't want to screw up the name there.
Oh,
Halibut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I got to see him actually at the airport with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed him. I missed lots of people. But then again, I bumped into lots of people as well. And so it's like every year it's the same. You can't get around to everyone.
True.
Yeah.
I literally was away from my booth. I don't think more than 3 or 4 hours all of those days. And it was in small little segments, but there was a couple people that told me that they stopped by the booth and I wasn't there. And I'm like, how can this happen? I'm almost always there. Paul Grogan was one of them, but then the last day he did come over and we got to chat for a little bit, but we were trying to tear apart our booth and get it all put away. So I was really distracted because I love spending time with Paul Grogan and a dear friend, and got to see Peter Vaughn from A Drama's Edge and got to talk with the guys at Lucky Duck Games, which is always a great Chris and Devon and Scott Morris, of course. I got to spend some quality time with him at the airport, which is always such a treat. And I did get to see Connor for just a moment, and it was so interesting. He's all dressed up in his collared dress shirt, and he's having business meetings from business meeting, and let's come back into the booth, into the business office. And here all of a sudden he's turned into this executive. Here's this little booth guy that was doing, Gortys Maximus and Summit. And all of a sudden he's a bigwig. It was just, I was really impressed with him. He just really cool. Got to see Michael Coe from Gamelin Games, good friend of ours, and met Friedman Freeze, which was kind of cool. And then got to see some of the people from Tantrum House. Will and Sarah were there, which was really kind of cool. And I could go through all my pictures and tell you all the people, but Jeremy Howard was there for Man vs. Meeple. That was pretty cool. And Dave Beck from Paverson Games, which was really great. And of course, I got to see my friends, that was helping in the booth. And Barry, we went out that one night to that fancy steakhouse that took us like 2.5 hours to get our steaks. We get there at 8 o'clock. We don't get our steaks until 10:30. So this was a very slow burn. But the friendship and the fellowship was so awesome. Brian Pope and his wife Althea and Chris Whitpan from Reed Pop, PAX Unplugged, and Shane from Gray Fox Games, and of course you, Barry, and Ryan Bruns from Arcane Wonders. Just had a delightful time, and so it's amazing how many of the folks are from the United States are there, and still being able to reacquaint with. Nicholas from AEG too, dear friend of mine, Nicholas Brochure, and he does such a great job at AEG, so that was super cool. And got to talk with Jim and Christoph at Aries Games too, which was really, really cool. They've got our toppers in their show kits in North America, but they're going to do that in Europe as well. So that was kind of cool.
Cool.
So how did you feel about the overall buzz of the convention, Barry? Did you feel like it was on par with what it's been?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same old rigmarole. I don't know if that expression actually works, but
yeah,
it's business as usual. People come, people go, and that's it. It was busy.
We'll kind of finish up maybe with this last question here. But I think, Scott, your impression of the buzz of the convention was it all you expected or better than?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a lot better than what I expected. Whenever you hear about the numbers of people that are going to be there, you kind of get overwhelmed with it. And but it didn't seem that way. It was busy, but it was just people were just friendly, and I was really impressed with that. That was really very, very cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. What was some of your guys' best experiences? Yeah, Barry.
I
don't know. I didn't have
everything was a great experience, apart from the after the last night on the way home when I had bad belly syndrome, and I had to hold my bad belly syndrome.
Oh,
bad
no.
belly. Yes.
Tummy troubles.
Tummy troubles all the way home.
Oh no.
Which was fun.
Were you driving yourself, or were you on a train?
No. We were driving, but I was not the designated driver. So, but I managed to arrive at my front door, open the door, get to the toilet in time.
Oh no.
Let's just say
that kind of tummy troubles.
Kind of tummy troubles. So yeah, everything was amazing there. The company, the people that you meet, the conversations that you had, the things that you saw, everything was just, it's like that once in a lifetime walk through Santa's grotto. You go, I wonder if that present's for me. I wonder if that's for me. But yeah, it's like that yearly experience.
How about you, Scott?
Well, I think that's it was just, the whole thing was a great experience, but I think the best experience was probably 15 minutes before it closed, because you're looking at that last few minutes for it to close, and then you had that time to decompress where you got to just talk with the people you're with all day and just laugh about what you had seen and what you had done, and just this chance to just relax. And I think that was what made things so special there, in that during the day, you're just so busy with so many people coming at you. Then whenever you don't have that, it's just that time to decompress and just relax with people and have a good time, have good conversations, have a few good drinks, and go to bed.
Remember that your bladder needs emptying.
Yes. The old lather, rinse, repeat kind of thing there. But it was, I think it was really the whole thing, like the last 15 minutes, that the end is coming, it ends, and then you're done. And then you can just kind of experience it all and let it all sink in.
Yeah, I felt like, for me, convention life has changed with Game Toppers and being a manufacturer, because I have so many business concerns that I'm thinking about: managing staff, the booth, logistics, all of these different things. Plus, my normal business life doesn't stop because I'm at a convention. So I have a lot of things on my mind, and what I try to do is to push that aside so that I can be in every moment. If I'm giving a presentation to a new backer customer, if I'm talking to an acquaintance, if I'm talking to prospective new business people, I just want to be in that moment. And I found for myself, there was so many amazing moments. One of the particular ones in the booth that I'll mention, that this gentleman came up and he asked me, he said, "How is your son, Josiah?" And I went, "What? You know Josiah?" Well, it so happened this was someone that was asking some questions during our last Kickstarter campaign, and he had been emailing Josiah at support about some shipping things and different things, and he had some questions. And then, of course, getting the updates from our Kickstarter campaign, a lot of you know that Josiah got in a serious car accident. Or a serious softball accident where he broke his arm in several places, an elbow, and had to go through a very specialized surgery. Well, he knew about all this, and he was asking out of genuine concern how my son was. I was blown away by that, actually. I was so thoughtful and very kind of him. That gentleman ended up buying one of our toppers, and then we've had several conversations since. And that was really endearing to me, actually. That was probably one of the highlights of being in the booth, other than just so grateful to meet so many people and introduce our product. And our team was just, I couldn't have been more happy with our team. It was just such a great group of people. And but for me, probably my best experiences where I'm less focused on business is these evening dinners that we were able to go out. I had several times I got to just go out with my team and have dinner. And honestly, got to have dinner with Brian Pope, and we ate at that Lou Bear, which was this German restaurant. It had these great big shanks, pork shanks, and I had the Nuremberg sausages with the potatoes over the sauerkraut. And I mean, I'm all in. The food choices were awesome. Enjoyed all that. Scott, you and I, the first day we went to Dusseldorf, we went over to Bob and Mary's hamburger joint. How do you get a name in Dusseldorf like Bob and Mary's? It was some of the best hamburgers, and we just had just an awesome time. We were tired from travel, but those moments, eating that last night at that steakhouse by the hotel at the Hilton, with you and the two Raymonds, man, I just relished and enjoyed every moment of it. I love that camaraderie and love that fellowship, and like you say, we would reminisce about all kinds of different things regarding the show and gaming and just relationships. And that's what I appreciated so much about it, probably more than anything. The games are great, but that's not what really fuels me as much anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, with that, do you have any final comments, Scott? You'd like to talk about the Spiel or any wrap up?
Really, I mean, it was a tremendous experience. It's something that will stick with me for quite some time. And just going and visiting has kind of opened up the whole idea of my wife and I hopefully getting a chance to go back just even on the off time and visit and go around and see so much in the area there. It was just a very special time, and I was very happy to be part of the booth and so appreciative of the opportunity as well. And it was just really, really wonderful.
Yeah, Barry, final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Essen 2025.
Already looking forward.
Yeah. To good food, good company, and earning a nice little packet.
Well, I can't thank Raymond Hawken from Board Game Heaven enough, too. He helped us find some, the other Raymond to help. He helped organize driving each day and taking on that pressure. And there's a pressure there, that he was just so willing to do for us and to help coordinate, and having someone from Europe being able to kind of be our guide was like really important, and just love that. Yeah, we played that one game. That was the only game I played, that bar pig. We got done eating and we went over there and we just started, and then it started to get a little too late where our mind wasn't working, but it was super fun little, beer and pretzels type of game.
And anyway, cheap $10 alcohol from Aldi. Oh,
but it was just all these experiences, that you're having with your friends. And Raymond Doomray, thank you. If you're listening to this or see this later, listen to it. Just appreciate you, brother. It was so great. And Scott, thank you so much for committing that length of time to this show to go with me. Meant the world to me, and I sure appreciate it. And Barry, as always, just love getting any opportunity I get to see you, and it's always very special to me. So with that, I think we're going to round out. Tell us where people can find us. And
Okay, yeah. Well, number one, you can find Scott on his Level Up Board Gaming Podcast.
Check it out. It's really, really good. Patrick knocks it out of the park. Scott just is along for the ride, but he's
I am
too, actually.
Absolutely.
And you can find us on all your streaming services that you get as Berkey and Badger, Board Game Babble. You can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on Facebook and that X thing.
Twitter, X,
which is not
Instagram.
Yep.
Libsyn. Board Game Geek Guild 2248.
Yeah, Board Game Guild. That's the one.
Yeah, are you going to put up a poll on this one?
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, do a Essen poll.
I'll do an Essen poll. Yeah, which one are you most looking forward to? Essen 2025, Essen 2026?
No. Which is Essen bigger than Germany?
Okay, yeah. Is Essen
what was
bigger
your
than
favorite
Germany?
game?
Yeah, okay.
Who do you like better, Berkey or Badger? No.
There's no conflict.
I can't handle the disappointment.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ciao for now, and play nicely with each other.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us on the show and all of our silliness. And thanks if you stopped by the booth at Essen, and stay tuned for the next Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble show. And with that, send us out.
We're so glad we had this time together. Now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Berkey and Badger will be back in no time.